Today's question is higher level 2016. So we are doing transformations. The figure shows the design of a video game character. The shape is subject to transformations in the following order. Okay, so it's the following order: translation, axis symmetry, central symmetry, and rotation. So the vast is do it in the following order. So it's P1, P2, P3, P4. So I've labeled it translation P1, axis symmetry is going to be P2, central symmetry is P3, and rotation is P4. Okay, so we locate. Part A is locate our points and draw the figure. Okay, they give us all the measurements: 45, 60, 45, 80, up 100, up 140. And for the figure itself, okay, we'll call it a mushroom. It looks like a mushroom. So the head is radius 26. The base of it is 30. So our center line here goes through and it's out 15 either side. And then to get this little arc here, okay, that's probably the most complicated bit, or the bit we need to figure out. So we have our height 31 for the center of our head. Okay, so our baseline is down 31 from that. 15, so we have point P, and I'll label this point A, and I'll label this over here B. That'll be C for the center point. Okay, so what's happened here is they've come up. We know we're stuck. That's a right angle there and a right angle there, so we can use that throughout the drawing. And they've joined A to B, okay, and where it intersects this line P, that gives us a point in our arc. So if it gives us a point in our arc, and we have the center point of the arc, which is here, telling us that's the radius. So point the compass here, point the compass here, and that gives us its arc. Okay, so that's the solution to drawing our logo. So we can get cracking on that. If you look where the P's are, all our transformations are going to be up the page. Okay, so we can start this down the bottom left hand side of our page. Everything is working up to the right. Okay, so it's radius 26 and down 31. Okay, so I'm going to come up off my title box 30. Okay, then coming up 31 for the center, the head, and that is radius 26. Okay. Center line up to it, and we know the stalk is 30, so come over 15 inside. 15, 15. So lines bring that up. That up. Okay. So this is P. Okay. Label this A. Label this B. C for center, and D. Okay, so if we have these 5 points, we should be able to complete our logo. Okay, so you join A to B. Okay, so where it intersects here, intersects the P line, that gives us a point in our arc. So we can put the point of the compass on D, and then you mark there. So, brilliant. So we can finish out back with the C. Okay. So check the 26 and D. Yeah. There is our logo. Okay, so we need to get P1. So I'll draw my guidelines along here. So over 45 and up 100. Okay. P1. P2 is over 105, 60 plus 45. 60 is mark that off for P4. We'll get that on the way back. 45. Okay, and P2 is up 100 plus 40, 140. P2. Okay, P3 is on another 80. On another 80. And it's on the same line as P1, which is 100. This is P3, then on the way back is P4, so it was on our 60 line and it was up the same height as CD. P4. Okay, so we have our 4 points. Now, I'm going to draw up. First one is translation. And P2 is axial symmetry, central symmetry, and P4 is rotation. Okay, so if you can visualize what's going to happen here throughout the drawing, it'll make it easier. So we take a moment to think and see what they're asking us. Okay, so there is our figure. First one is translation. Okay, so it's the same orientation as just a new point in the page. So P goes to P1. We need a line of translation. So we join P to P1. Okay, that's our line of translation. So basically, same orientation, it's not flipped or anything. It goes up along P and it ends up here like so. So that is our translation. Okay, then it needs to go to P2 via axial symmetry. Okay, so we need a line of axis. How do we get that? So we join P1 to P2. Okay, so basically we need is a perpendicular line through that. So how do we get that? We bisect our line. Okay, point that comes on P2, anything greater than halfway, draw an arc, onto P1, draw an arc, scribe an arc, and join the two of these. Okay, that is our line of axis. Okay, so what happens here is it's a mirror reflection, so it's flipped over, so P it's flipped over and it goes to P here. Okay, so that is our axial symmetry, and then the channels go from P2 to P3 via central symmetry. So there's a center, the point is point of symmetry here somewhere, which will be halfway between the two of them. So once again, join the P's, P2 to P3. Okay, so we're now moving that point to this point through central symmetry. So once again, we need to find a point of symmetry. Same process as in a line of axis, except all we need is a point. Okay. Right. So we can join them up there like so. There's the point. Okay. So should be halfway between P2 and P3. which you look at 90, 89, it's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to call this one POS, the point of symmetry. Okay, so we've gone from translation, axial symmetry, and we are now going to central symmetry. Okay, so it's basically being flipped over and flipped over. Okay, and P lands back at P. Okay, and then we're going from there to rotation of 90 degrees. Right, so it's going to be at point P4, but if you can see the line P to A, okay, so that needs to be rotated 90 degrees. So you see this line here, right? So you think 90 degrees to that is, this is just a guideline. So this is to visualize what I should look like down here. So that's rotated at 90, put down here. Okay, so that should be the solution, which way I should be. Okay, we'll deal with that when we get to it. So that's what we're looking at. Translation, first of all, let's go with that. Okay, so we've projected point P up. So sliding set squares, point P has gone up. Okay, so I'm going to bring up A. Okay, and C, you're on the same line there. D, okay, and B. Okay, for translation, you get the distance between P and our new location of P, which you were calling P1. Okay, compass does not move for the rest of the translation question. There, we're drawing it. So, mark off A, mark off D, B, C, FP, and B. Okay, that's now D1, A1, C1, B1. Now, so I revert back to my original drawing for all my measurements. So I know from this drawing P goes to A. Okay, so I can do that up here. P goes back to A and it goes through D. Okay, alright. I know C is my center point for my head, say, and the radius is C to B. So I can do that up here. Radius on C, put it on B. Okay, and draw. Right, to get this point here, okay, I need to bring up P and A at right angles, perpendicular to our AP line. Okay, so I'm going to bring up A first of all, and bring up P. Okay, so back down to here, A goes to B. Let's do that. A goes to B. Where it intersects here, that gives us our point in there. So the point of the compass goes on D. And on to this one. So that is our figure via translation. Okay, next one is axis symmetry. So we have our line of axis. So what we'll be doing is bring it through our line of axis, mirror image, and we'll land it like so. So we'll do that. So we have the direction of our lines. So we're transferring P to P2, done already. Okay, D needs to become D2, A1 needs to become A2. B1 needs to become B2, and C1 will become C2. Okay, this time axis symmetry, point of the compass stays along the line of axis, and we start marking off our points. Okay, so you get the distance of D comes D2. Okay, move it over to the A line. A1 becomes A2. Okay, to B1 comes B2, and C1 becomes C2. So that's C2. That is B2, P2, D2, and A2. Okay, so once again back here, C goes to A. Okay, C is the center point, and B is the radius. Okay. A and P come up at right angles. Okay, A goes to B. Point compass sits on D, where they intersect. And that is our figure in axial symmetry. Okay, so now we're going to central symmetry. So we have our point of symmetry, and we've brought P2 is now P3. Okay, so let's get A3. Okay, so I'm going to mark these as I go along, because with central symmetry you can get fairly untidy very fast. So A2 is now A3. Okay, that is A3. Okay, D and C should be on the same line here. Bring them through. Yep. Okay. Point of symmetry. D first of all. Okay, right on here I'll do C. Okay, D3, C3, and B3. Central point again. B2 goes to B3. Okay, so once again, P goes to A. Okay. C is B. A goes to B. To D. Okay, that is our figure via central symmetry to our point of symmetry. Now we're on to rotation. So we want to rotate our figure and land it down at P4 here. Okay, so we're going central symmetry. So we'll be rotating at 90 degrees. 90. Okay, but down at P4. Okay, so join these two, P3 to P4. Okay, so we're looking for 90 degrees. Okay, so if I draw a little diagram. Okay, so 90 degrees. Okay, so we'll be rotating it from at 90. Let's do that again. Just the theory behind it. So you can imagine it's 90 degrees there. So our mushroom is rotating 90. Okay. So on a bigger scale, if you can, for a set square, it's easy with 90 degrees because we have 90 here. So what we need to find is our point of rotation out here. So like this angle here, so that's 90. In any given triangle is 180 degrees. Okay, so 90 leaves 90. Okay, this leaves us 45 degrees. 45 degrees. So I come out from point 3, or P3, line it up with P4, and come out at 90 degrees. Okay, come out from point P4 at 90 degrees. And where they intersect is my P, O, R, point of rotation. Okay, so all my points here are going to go to my point of rotation and out at 90 degrees. That's how we rotate it. Okay, so we should have P3 and P4 already. Okay, so let's get A3 goes to POR, point of rotation, and out at 90 degrees. Okay, so get the distance, point of the compass goes on POR, is point of rotation, to A3. Okay, now we're going to swing it, and that should give us A4. A4. Okay, so P3 to A3 here, we have now rotated that at 90 degrees. So just to double check it, this is 90. So I can set our set square down onto P3. Okay, keep it along the P3 to A3 baseline till it hits P4 down here, and where the two of them meet up. Yep. Okay, so that's A4. Right, so let's get D4. D3 here, look to POR, and it comes off at 90 degrees. Okay, so D4. C4, C3, good. It's point of rotation, goes out, so the distance between point of rotation and C3. Rotation is this line, and that will give us C4. Okay, C4. And the last one we're looking for is B4. Okay, so that can go back here. B4 goes back to a point of rotation. Goes back out. Point of the compass goes here, goes on to B3. Okay, rotate it over to B4. B4. Okay, so like the rest of them, you know, the C goes to B, gives us our radius. Okay, and we come up at perpendicular to A4, P4 goes up. Okay, point of the compass goes on D4. We're joining here to A4 to B4 first of all. Okay, gives us this point here. Point of the compass goes on D4. That's the point. That is 2016 higher level question 5. So we had translation, axial symmetry, okay, central symmetry, which is axial symmetry twice. Okay, so like so. So it's basically over and over, so there's that, and then we had rotation, so that brought down to P and rotated down to 90 degrees. Okay, it's always if you bring a scissors into the exam, it might be an idea to cut out one of those for visualizing it. It does make life easier.